even sarcasm has formed this story. In any event, the things wrong with this are so obvious, I just move on. They also dress up in the locals' clothes, so they'll probably need a good delousing when they get back, and they get led inside, but are soon discovered. Someone tries to kill Sulu with a potato gun, but he evades it, and the battle commences. Sabak is furious because he didn't want bloodshed. Well, what did you think an army was for, Sabak? That's like bringing a group of frat boys and hookers to the same place and being surprised that sex breaks out. Speaking of sex, dancing triple-breasted cat lady attacks Kirk, but he throws her into the pool table, which knocks her out because everyone who has seen cartoons knows cats need water that much. Spock joins in, only to have them both be captured by the hostages, allowing Sybok to take over. I'm assuming the rest just surrendered to preserve Kirk and Spock, since Uhura went and landed the shuttle and all that. Though the script's so full of logical holes, the Navy operates under chess rules of engagement and had to stop once the king was captured. Sybok is excited to see Spock, though not for the reasons you might have expected from a religious leader. It calls to mind something that happened at Chris Berry's show, The British Empire, where in the last episode he died, but then Heaven decided to send him back at the end of the episode. They then went on to make more episodes of the show, most of which sucked. But one thing I thought was clever was that sometime afterwards, a group of fundamentalists sought him out to try to learn more about what it was like to die and come back to life. Now apply that here. You have a religious leader seeking ultimate knowledge who is now come into the presence of a man who has just returned from death to life. And they don't care about that. Once again, Star Trek is proving to be less well thought out than a British sitcom. Sybok's pleased with Spock, especially when he tries to arrest him, but says he can't do that because he needs their ship. Kirk can't believe this.
You staged all this to get your hands on my ship?
Who are you?
James T. Kirk, captain of the Enterprise.
Sybok realizes he's just been tricked and calls it very clever. Well, that's probably just a way of saving face. Better to say that you were tricked by a very clever ruse than admitting it wasn't terribly cunning and you fell for it anyway. Then again, all this very clever move allowed was for Kirk himself to come down, which again plays into that whole Kirk is one of the only four competent people there are that we have going on here. They head back up, but Claw is closing in.
Face shield. The shuttle. Let's do it.
Finally, this movie's looking up for me. The shuttle needs to use a special tractor beam to land properly, leaving the Enterprise defenseless. Sybok refuses to turn back, so Kirk improvises emergency landing plan B. B is a barricade. Oh, why are you talking in code instead of just saying what you mean? If the Klingons intercept, it won't matter, and the people on the shuttle know what you're doing. At least it could have been implied he was trying to clue them into a situation, though knowing this film, I thought it would be something like emergency landing plan, hostage A, LK. So they fly in and crash the shuttle, and everyone is thrown about, though uninjured, just like most people in high-speed collisions who aren't wearing seatbelts. This, by the way, is as close as Sulu is allowed to get to being confident in this film, managing to get most of the shuttle inside. Chekhov orders them to warp away, evading the shot from the bird of prey. Claw orders pursuit, and then comments, "He's good." Chekhov? Sulu? Of course not. This film is a love letter to James T. Kirk, damn it, where even his enemies must acknowledge his awesomeness at every turn. Sybok and Kirk are the first to get their senses back, and Sybok gets the gun first. Well, you know how this can only end, don't you? During the battle between Sybok and Peter Pan, the gun gets tossed away to Spock's feet. And naturally, seeing his best friend strangled, Spock needs Kirk to actually tell him to keep the damn thing up before he does anything about it. Sybok just closes in on him, and Kirk, in his typically subtle way, orders Spock to shoot him. But, well, he doesn't. Sybok wins. However, Spock refuses to join Sybok, and he, McCoy, and Kirk are led to the brig by chicken skin. And presumably, Kirk will take on a Vulcan with 3 times his strength, but not someone who weighs 45 pounds soaking wet. He's a sportsman, damn it. Kirk swears the whole way, using words that fans always scream at me about using when I talk about their favorite franchise. It's always amused me because we've actually heard the regulars talk this way throughout every movie except the first one, the one where people complain. I don't know. Apparently, if you like TFT, you didn't watch any more Trek films. Anyway, Kirk gets worked up when McCoy says the second line he's had in the past 20 minutes. Kirk turns down and tells her to shut up. Considering he's the director, that's probably fairly accurate. Hey, Bill, can I get a line here? Fuck you! Spock finally reveals that he didn't pull the trigger because Sybok was his brother, or rather half-brother, son of a Vulcan princess. This causes Kirk to sit on the bridge toilet, over which is a sign saying not to use it while in space dock, which ranks as the most bizarre notation I can remember ever seeing in Star Trek. Even leaving aside that there should be no reason it should cause a complication in space dock, it's not like it's taking parts for half hour or something. Hell, the Excelsior's been in space dock for like 6 months. Now that's a hell of a long time to hold it. While this is going on, Sybok was doing his share your pain shtick with Sulu and Uhura, and now they come to the bridge and are working for Sybok. Chekhov briefly protests when Sybok approaches him, and soon he'll be working for him too against Kirk. Now, you might recall when we were discussing Star Trek 3, I said to remember the point about Sulu and Chekhov. The two learn that Kirk is going to Genesis against orders, and without hesitation volunteers to go along, even if it would cost them their careers. Their loyalty to Kirk and Spock is so great that they'll risk losing everything and probably go to prison for them. Sybok, however, could just undo that with one brief therapy session. Please! This is what I mean when I say the story could have worked maybe if Shatner came up with his own universe, so he could have a hero whose crew would turn on him like he wanted. But this continues the narcissism inherent in the story, which is all about Shatner's own character, overcoming obstacles in the face of betrayal by all. And yeah, I said all. Spock and McCoy were supposed to turn against Kirk too, and the only reason it didn't work that way was because Nimoy and Kelly flat out refused to do it. Spock especially. It was foolish to think that if Kirk gave up everything to restore Spock to life, that Spock could ever voluntarily turn against them. And yet that was to be one of the themes of the dream, that the threesome would be divided and then restored. Why else is the book ended by the camping trips? To show them starting as a family and finishing as one again. But they were never really divided because the story simply doesn't have any way for them to be divided. It doesn't even bother with one for Uhura, Sulu, and Chekhov, whose other purpose is to illustrate how Kirk has been betrayed by those close to him. Such an insulting treatment of the franchise's regulars and shows a complete inability on Shatner's part to understand anyone's character but his own. If your story only works because your leaders are morons, your engineers are incompetent, and your loyal crew is ready to mutiny at the first psychiatrist they come across, then your story is poorly thought out garbage. Sybok now makes a ship-wide announcement on what they're planning to do, and everyone dutifully listens. Wow. Either Sybok was able to brainwash their skeleton crew in like 10 minutes, or else these people hated Kirk so much they were just looking for an excuse to mutiny. Sybok announces their destination as Shakar Reef, which causes Spock to puzzle a little bit, as it was the reason Sybok left Vulcan. I thought you said he was Danish, but then you've probably seen how consistent this movie is with itself by now. And just wait, there's more. He announces it lies beyond the Great Barrier in the center of the galaxy, which they will reach, according to Sulu, in 6.7 hours. Now, let's leave aside the obvious continuity errors you probably already know. That TNG did an episode similar to this, where it required Barclay to develop superintelligence to do so, and that Voyager's entire premise is based on speed a century later being much, much slower. Let's be as absolutely fair as possible and take the film on its own. The Enterprise can get from the neutral zone to the center of the galaxy in hours. Then at that speed, forget about having another ship on Earth. You can have a ship practically anywhere in the galaxy to get to Nimbus 3 in a reasonable amount of time. One that actually works. So take it to its logical conclusion, not only are there no experienced commanders nearby, there's no experienced commanders, period. They're all off in Andromeda or the Magellanic Clouds or something. Well, none of that getting in touch with your pain crap is going to work on a Scotsman. So Scotty bucks them out of the brig and tells them to take an empty turbolift shaft up to the emergency communicator in the observation room. At this point, we get that scene so face-palmingly unbelievable, I had to put it in the opening scene. Scotty just casually walks up the corridor, hits his head on a beam, and is knocked out. You know, when I think of epic searches to find God, one thing that utterly fails to come to mind is the Three Stooges.